Will the Thunder regret this trade? Skip, you go first.
Stephen A. Smith, James Harden deserved every penny of the max contract.
No denial here. He absolutely did.
And he immediately went out on the road in Detroit and backed it up. You can go beast mode game, you can go monster game, whatever kind of game you want. He backed it up and made a resounding statement that echoed all the way back to my hometown of Oklahoma City. You blew it, Thunder. James Harden, listen, he brought that team back last night, Stephen A. That was not a simple game to win. He'd had no practice time with his new team. They are down 8 with 9:22 left, and they won by 9, mostly because of James Harden. And I'm going to take one more step back from this. And the more I look at it, the more shocked I am that the Oklahoma City Thunder didn't at least play this out for the year, because clearly they took, you disagree with this, they took a big step back with an eye on the future at the expense of this year. I don't get it, because they could have played out this year. They could have done a sign and trade for James Harden, or silly me, I thought about this. You could amnesty Perkins, and you could just flat out open your pocketbook and pay the luxury tax that it would cost to sign James Harden to a max. It was doable. I know some of those owners there, Stephen A., they have a whole lot of money, serious money. And it's almost like on principle they said, we're not going to pay that much luxury tax. Why not? There he is, beast mode, 37 and 12 assists. In Detroit, comeback win, and you don't have him. What are you doing, Oklahoma City? And what are you doing, Stephen A., picking Oklahoma City, even though they don't have James Harden anymore?
Number one, if you're an owner, you do what you want to do. We're not in the business of questioning owners, because they always do what they want to do. You understand? There's nothing we can do about them, because they can't be fired, and they ain't going to fire themselves. So that's a moot point. If you're Sam Presti, you have a mandate that you do not want to go above the $95 million threshold. The luxury tax is at $70.8 million. The ownership gave him a mandate. This is our price. This is how far we're willing to go. Work it out. He tried to work it out. James Harden didn't want to work it out. He saw the opportunity to get $80 million over 5 years as opposed to $60 million over 4. That's an extra year security in the NBA at $26 million more than he was going to get offered from Oklahoma City. So it's not a question of keeping James Harden. It's a question of what do you get for losing him, because in all actuality, no matter what he says, he wasn't trying to stay and pass up on $20 million that was available in Houston.
But he would have stayed for the max, obviously.
No. They could give him 4 years, $60 million.
Okay, that's their fault.
I'm sitting there and I'm saying to you, he took the hard line stance because he knew it wouldn't be matched. As a result, they would try to move him. His agent is Rob Pelinka, the same dude as Kobe Bryant and Andre Iguodala and those boys. And Rob Pelinka is very good at what he does, and he knew that he was in a position to get $20 more million. It's posturing. Now let's get down to posturing.
Wait, are you suggesting that James wouldn't have stayed in Oklahoma City for the max?
No. I am suggesting to you that because Oklahoma's number was at $60 million and the potential for $80 million was out there somewhere else, he was definitely trying to go. So don't listen.
My issue is, why is their number stuck at?
Well, again, that's something complicated with the CBA in terms of who drafted him and all of that stuff.
It's not complicated to me.
It is. The point that I'm trying to make to you is the $80 million that he could get from Houston, couldn't get from Oklahoma City. Now let's move on to the basketball part. If you're going to lose James Harden, who we all know is a stud and can play the game, the only problem I've ever had with him, is he disappeared other than Game 2 of the, other than the first half of Game 2 of the NBA Finals. He was completely MIA. Outside of that, I have no issues with James Harden, the person or the player. But at the same time, no disrespect to James Harden, because you can ball, bro. He ain't Kevin Durant. Let's stop that. Kevin Durant, $85 million. I'm sorry. I don't think James Harden belongs in the same ballpark as James Harden. Kevin Durant belongs in the same ballpark as James Harden. I mean, I think that's blasphemous. Clearly he can play. Clearly he can ball. But in the same breath, as Kevin Durant, you better watch your mouth. It ain't happening.
So what's your point?
So if you're Oklahoma City, I'm not trying to pay him as nearly in the ballpark that I paid Kevin Durant, number one. And number two, what can I get for him? I got a dude in Kevin Martin. He's erratic. He could sit there and drop 40. And then another night he could go 1 for 20. I get that. But he's a sharpshooter from the perimeter. He scores, okay? He averaged 17 last year, which basically shot 41% from the field, was basically career low because he had shoulder problems last year. Still averaged 17 points per game. And on top of it all, he's huge in pick and rolls. Now, I'm not trying to go all Tiago splitter on you when you're sitting up there talking about he sets a mean pick, one of your most embarrassing moments. One of your most embarrassing moments on this show. He sets mean picks. That's what your point was?
Wait a second.
Your point was?
Greg Popovich is a fool then to say that?
No.
Oh, that's what I got that from Greg Popovich.
I'm not saying that you were wrong in saying it. I said that it was one of your, let's be clear, let's qualify for our audience. I said it was one of your most embarrassing moments because you tried to tell me that was one of the reasons the Spurs were going to go to the finals because Tiago Splitter sets a mean pick.
He's like the ninth man. That's what he does best.
Did you say that?
That's what I said. I did because he does, and they love it.
He sets a mean pick.
The coaching staff loves him.
Splitter. I mean, you got to be kidding me.
And you know what?
So all I'm saying to you is this.
He made a difference last night in New Orleans. Well, he did.
Please stop it. The point that I'm trying to make to you is this. In the end, Skip, what it comes down to is whether it's Kevin Martin, whether it's Jeremy Lamb who delivered the national title to UConn, the boy can play. You've got an upside with these two dudes, which offsets the loss of Harden to some degree. Not completely, no doubt, but offsets it enough where Oklahoma City, because they are big-time offensively, will be just fine.
Is Oklahoma City better or worse right now than they were with or without James Harden?
You know what?
Did they take a step back?
No, Skip. They're worse now. That doesn't mean that will be the case come playoff time because Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook are the cornerstones of that franchise. And to me, as long as you've got those two balling, you'll be just fine.
As long as you got Westbrook taking a lot of shots that Durant should be taking, you'll be just fine.
But you said
it got to the finals. Did it get to the finals?
Harden's not there. Lakers have a legitimate chance. You still think so?
Absolutely. I mean, the door swung wide open in the West. I was picking the Thunder.
Okay.
Until that trade, they took, you know in your heart, they took a step back.
And it will be a permanent step back. I'm not denying that they took a step back for the time being. But come playoff time, whether it's Kevin Martin showing that he's got a resurgence going on with his career, or it's Kevin Durant becoming a little bit more aggressive, the Oklahoma City Thunder are still the team to beat in the West.
Okay, I want you on record. Bottom line. I want you on record. So they will be a little better without James Harden come playoff time.
No. They will. The results will be the same in spite of Harden being gone. They will go back to the finals.
Okay. I'm sticking with Lakers or Spurs, whoever's healthiest.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whoever's healthy.